we always walk to the far side because opposite corner, because then if there's, at least you'll have walked all the way over there, and then you can walk back to see at least a little bit. But I've not ever really had attention while we've been up here. Have you ever been kicked off the top of this?
I did once, a small group we had. It had already started. The police kept it open, and they just allowed us to go in and then around and out.
Oh, just through the other gate? Mm-hmm.
And you could see them throwing stones and using tear gas. There was a lot of smell of tear gas. We came to wash our faces and eyes because of the tear gas.
Yeah. If they'll throw, that's pretty well guarded for throwing stones over that side, but every now and then a stone will get tossed over the Davidson side. And if that happens, the south side, if that happens, then they shut that down then too, if they notice it. So yeah.
Why would somebody throw stones just on a random day? Or would they not on a random day?
On a random day, it's possible. Okay, from the wall, this would be where the Basilica, or the Royal Stoa is. I'm going to just read. Usually I'll spend time with my notes and I can just rattle them off, but just here's the cards that I was talking about. Josephus, when he talks about this, he says, here's a quote: "It's more worthy of mention than any structure under the sun, this royal portico. Humongous, way bigger than any other building in its day." So this structure here, while the temple was beautiful for Herod, it was like, this is kind of my crowning achievement of this site. Because he can't hang out in the temple. So he's got to hang out over here, right? He's not a priest. It's 4 rows of columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're called engaged columns, or it's part of the wall. So you got 4 rows of columns and 3 rows. The total of 162 columns that were here, 660 feet long. Now, based on 660 feet, that is all the way from one side to the other. In fact, those dimensions are slightly bigger than what this is. So if he took even the beginning of Robinson's Arch and added that to it, but 660 feet long, that's long. Columns are 108 feet high.
You look, first floor.
Yes. So this right here is probably about 30. Yeah, 108 feet high.
How do you do that without cranes? You know what I mean? How do you do that?
In it, you pile up dirt, move it on, pile up dirt, get a ramp, pile it up, put it up there, and that's something. And they do have some cranes,
They had the pulley system also.
Yeah.
108 feet from the platform here? Yeah, it's scaffolding. Or from down in the...
From here.
From here?
Yeah.
They had scaffolding.
Each column is 5 feet in diameter.
Wait. A little bit. It's bigger than the Crusader ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The central hallway is 44 feet wide, and the side was 30 feet wide. So if you go, that's 100, whatever that is, 30 plus 30 plus 400.
The bottom is a square.
Say again?
The bottom is a square.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, if you look at it from the end, if you could, it's 108 feet this way and 108 feet this way.
Yeah. And then it's got the clear story in the middle.
And then it's got the clear story.
Y'all know clear story style? Y'all do. Good. A standard basilica thing. The ceiling had deep cut wood carvings, and it was painted very vibrantly. Reds and blues and oranges and purples and stuff like that. So it's not sedate. It's painted just beautifully. The foundations underneath this, remember where the straight seam was over there? So this is kind of its own building project that got attached to that. On the Tyropean side, this side, it's 115 feet of arches. And on the Kidron side, when it gets all the way to the end, it's 130 feet of arches. This is crazy. Which is why this end is so unstable. if there's an earthquake on this end, everything shakes. Whereas the El Aqsa is sitting on rock.
The dome is.
Domes.
Yeah. Right. Excuse me. The dome is on rock. So this is on these columns that are
It's
here.
amazing it didn't fall over in Harris Bay.
Yeah. And when they built the El Aqsa mosque, they built it, and then like about 15 years later, it get earthquake shook it and knocked it all down. And it's been rebuilt like 4 or 5 times over the years, where it gets knocked down, and then they build it a little bit smaller. It was bigger when it was originally built, and then they just built it smaller and smaller.
The last edition was Crusader King.
The last one, El Aqsa, was after.
The right side sections, the west side.
Yeah, good. So if you step off like 108 feet from there to here, from that wall, I think you're somewhere, I always use the middle of this, somewhere right about a little bit this side of that wall to here is how big the Royal Stoa would have been. All the way out. So wasn't quite as far out as the El Aqsa, but if you go from here all the way to there, this is where that magnificent,
And that's the whole length.
yeah. You can glance in here with the windows open. There's a person right here, but you can just look.
Person sitting there.
There's a person sitting there, but you can look past it.
It's the women's section
On this side.
on this side. During the week, it becomes the women's section. On the Friday, it turns all to the men's section. And the women go to the Dome of the Rock. Remember once you pointed on the Corinthian
Yeah,
decorations, the gold leaf?
yeah.
I could never find
Never
it.
find it. That you can see the variety of the capitals that are here, and the Corinthian ones are probably the oldest. Do they come from Herod's building? Good possibility, but they're too small. If you think of like 5 feet in diameter. So you go like, oh, maybe those were the smaller columns up to the clear story up at the top, but if it's fallen off of there, it'd be all shattered up. So it's probably not. But there have been, and I've mentioned that, like maybe there's gold leaf in it, and I've read that, but Dico says he searched because he wants the gold.
I presume the heat wave coming in and melting it.
But you can see the ornate nature of the Corinthian capitals as well as the basket capitals that are more Islamic in style. And actually, depending on which Muslim group is in charge, some like the Umayyads like baskets, the Abbasids liked more of the Corinthian stuff, and the Fatimids liked Corinthian capitals. Yeah. Okay. You think in terms of Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian, 3 different types of capitals. Doric is the most plain. Doric is it just goes up and there's like a small square piece. And then the next one, Ionic, is often, you'll see it straight and curled around, but it's a little bit more complicated, but it's not much. And then the more complicated is Corinthian, and then there's different styles of Corinthian, either the acanthus leaves or the basket ones. And if you go like, which comes first and which comes next, the kind of the mnemonic device is the more syllables there are, the more developed it is over time. Yeah, Doric, Ionic, Corinthian. It's just a simple mnemonic device.
The Ionic one is the one that they use for the symbol of the archaeological site here?
Yes. Right.
There is the stalactite, but very few.
Where they hang down?
They hang coming down, stalactites.
Huh.
It was introduced by the Arabs, but very few you see.
Can you imagine how loud that is if you were in the tower right now?
Yeah, that's the Lutheran Church of the Redeemer, right?
Yeah.
be up there. Is that every hour, on the hour?
Yeah,
So you gotta be careful.
yeah. We've been up there. You just like it's loud. We were filming one time and and we were shooting away, and I'm standing there talking. All of a sudden, they start going, and you're like, I think the audio's ruined. I'm not sure.
There's a chance. Are there towers similar to our bell towers for your purpose? For viewing, or is it for prayer? Or
Prayer.
Prayer?
Call it prayer, yeah.
And what's this building here?
The ticket office of the Temple Mount, selling the tickets to enter the Dome of the Rock or the El-Aqsa Mosque. But since the year 2000, when Sharon came up, they stopped allowing non-Muslims into the mosques.
Matthew 24, right? As they're leaving the building, look at this incredible place. And Jesus says, yeah, I tell you, it's all going to get knocked down. You can imagine that, whoa, what? And so then they walk out, they go across to the other side, and when is this going to happen? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So you could see, if you can build this imagery, teaching it, this imagery that what they would have seen. And I can't imagine, if you were like a peasant farmer in Galilee and you get to go here, it's like, you know, for people going to Disneyland, they at least have visual images and all the stuff that we see, and so it's not as big a jump, but for them it would be a huge jump from my little farm plot to this.
Yeah, if I went to Washington, D.C. and like the entire Capitol building was just rubble after 300 standing for, 330 years, that'd be very upsetting. Kind of hard to fathom. It's kind of like when the Twin Towers came down. It was like, this is impossible. It does not compute.
Good parallels.
And it was like even the platform got so destroyed. None of this is all repurposed,
Yep.
rebuilt.
Tour-wise, I usually start here with this, you know, the Royal Portico and talk about it. People want to know about the Golden Dome and the gold on the dome and the building of the stuff, and so that's a great place where you feel like I want to make the biblical connections. Deco can tell about, you know, when the gold was put up there and how King Jordan put it up there and all that stuff, you know. So
How they cheated also, King of Jordan. It was supposed to be real gold, and they brought gold-plated. A lot of monkey business. And the old dome, somebody managed to take it and try to sell it in the Islamic world, and they managed to make millions out of it.
Wow.
Coming from the Dome of the Rock.
So there's a lot of monkey business.
Yeah.
That's
But the interesting thing is the last company that they brought was an Irish company. Because they had problems of alcoholism of the 1960s, the Italian group, who were having wine for breakfast and coming drunk, they placed it in the contract with the Irish group that no alcohol forbidden at all, not even at night, only at day. And I was once trying to give the explanation, and the Irish engineer was passing by, he stopped, and he just nodded to confirm it.
that's funny.
So, you know, the teacher of the word, you go like, okay, so while this was the center of the place in Jesus' day, I mean, this was the place everybody came. Jesus did remarkable things up here. And if you look like in the Gospel of John, there's, you know, several incidents where he's up here. You know, he comes up into the middle of it and he says, you know, if anybody is thirsty, come to me. You know, he says that up here in the middle of this temple. You know, he stops the buying and selling that says, you guys got it all wrong. This is supposed to be for all nations. You know, he finds the guy that he heals at the Pool of Bethesda, which is on the far side, and he says, you know, don't go back to your former life, which has huge implications. It's not just for him. Don't go back to your former life. Well, isn't this beautiful, Jesus? Yeah, it's going to get knocked down. It's done. Its day is over. And that whole Matthew 24 thing, how fundamentalist Christians miss the idea that, we're supposed to watch for the restoration of the temple grounds. And you're like, no. Jesus is saying it is done. There's just going to be wars and rumors of wars. And so when you see Jerusalem surrounded by the armies, in Luke 21, the parallel passage, Jerusalem, when it's surrounded by the armies, the Gentile armies, it's don't think that that's the end. And then he goes into, the long discourse, but there will be a day when you will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of glory. And so don't confuse this spot with the kingdom of God. It's done its job. It's done now. You want to add to this?
No.
Okay.
I would add Acts 1:8, right? Like to reinforce it's done. The spot is done, and Jesus, again, the woman caught in adultery. There will be a time soon where all people will be able to worship in spirit and truth, because it's not, the temple's now here. It's not here.
Yeah. And he says that in Samaria.
Right.
With the woman at the well. People say we're supposed to worship in Jerusalem, some say this mountain here, Mount Gerizim, and Jesus says, no, there's a time coming soon.
Yeah.
Where the worship in spirit and truth. Things. Well, when the Messiah comes, he'll sort that all out for us.
Right.
And Jesus goes, that's me.
Yeah. I am.
That's what I'm doing right now.
It's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a good place to kind of make some distinctions between us and our understanding of Scripture and a fundamentalist view of it. Like, this place isn't the place anymore. And then they'll say, well, why are we here? Because it helps us understand what Jesus was saying.
It kind of reinforces it too. Like, see? Like, this is not the place. Like, he said it wouldn't be the place. It's not the place.
And there's so many times in Scripture where it says he said these things that they may believe that he is the Son.
Yeah.
Some say the money changers tables by the steps, the lower part. Others claim in the courtyard of the Gentiles. Where do you think it should be?
I think it's throughout the whole court of the Gentiles. Because I don't think it was like okay, Jesus is upset and then it's done. I think he does it all day long. And in fact, he doesn't allow them in Mark to allow them to carry their merchandise. That's the word that's used through the court to the temple. And where we were under Wilson's Arch over there, there's a bridge that goes from there to the upper city. And so the idea that, can you see, people walking along and Jesus stopping them? This is not for shopping. This is a place where we call on the name of Yahweh, right? This is not, put that back, go back. If you want to do it, you got to go out that way, go around that way, but this is not that. So I think on the one, it's the, sheep and doves for sale, but it's even more than that.
And it was sold on
Yes.
the Gentile courtyard.
Yes. Hence Jesus' quote of, do you not know that what the Scripture says? This is to be a house of prayer for all people. He quotes that specifically. For all people. That's the Jeremiah passage, yeah.
The Scripture says that Jesus fashioned or made himself a whip.
That's in John 2. So this happens twice. In John 2, John begins with the, sorry, I cut you off there, but I'm going to do it anyway. So he does that in John 2 at the beginning of that, and then on Monday of Holy Week. So some have said, okay, well, Jesus came in from the Palm Sunday thing, and then does it right away, drives out the thing. But but when you look at the chronology, it says he walks in, looked at what was there, saw it was late in the day, at that Palm Sunday, and then went back to Bethany. And so it's almost like Jesus comes in up the steps, looks around. I know what tomorrow's going to be, and he comes back on Monday and does the whole, if you will, we call it Market Monday, at chapel.
Holy Week, we do a chapel every morning, and the kids know the names: Palm Sunday, Market Monday,
Teaching Tuesday,
Whisper Wednesday, Holy Thursday, or Maundy Thursday.
I do love the way the Chosen's displays that. He's in agony all night until Monday morning.
Is that right?
Preparing for that, yeah. And yeah, It just portrays how upset he is. Not
Yeah.
angry, upset.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine. I'm sorry. I can't imagine.
Right.
Imagine here you are, God in the flesh. You walk up here and go, oh my gosh. Yeah, and so,
Yeah. I told these people 100 years ago, 300 years ago,
yeah.
I told these
So-
people 3 years ago.
3 years ago
Yeah,
about
so
Right.
in John 2, does he just do a couple tables somewhere? Like it's not as big of a deal as in as in Mark.
Hard saying, you know?
Like why doesn't what he does? Doesn't sound like English, but why doesn't what he does on John 2 cause the same, or it's not recorded to cause the same reactions as Mark and Luke?
My guess, because it's at the beginning of his ministry.
Unknown.
And it's just like, but as John grows, you know, you all know the Gospel of John, this tension between the Jewish leaders and Jesus, just like it starts in John 2 right away, and then it just keeps growing throughout the book. So finally you get, you know, down to chapter 12, and it's just like, we're going to send out an arrest warrant.
And does John have Market Monday too?
No. He just has the John 2, the first one. John
Which is typical of John to have other stuff, right?
does, that's right.
And not include stuff that, like, Holy Communion.
Right. Right. But it's, yeah, that tension that builds in John. I won't go into my theories of when John was written or to whom it was written. Yes, I will. I think it was written early. I do. I don't think we have it into the 90s or something like that. And I think it was written to the Jews of Jerusalem.
But you still think it was written last?
I wouldn't say that necessarily. Just because there's so much in it that borrows from the Essenes language. And you go like, yeah, light and darkness, sons of light, sons of darkness, even a lot of the other imagery that's in there. But if I were in a scene from here, Jesus did many other miracles, but these I've written so that you would continue believing, present tense verb, continue believing that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and have life in his name. Life is a scene thing.
I love that his ringtone hasn't changed.
It has not.
For like 8 years. Great.
Yeah, so you look at that and go like, it seems to me to be written to Jews that are familiar with what the Essenes are talking about. But I'm kind of standing alone there on that. Yeah, I think it's a great place to kind of introduce what the fabulous nature of this place is right here.
I think a challenge I've had with guides of all stripes is I want to focus on Jesus up here, and I want to strip away everything that's here and imagine the model.
It's the same. It's the same book.
As soon as they start talking, they go back to what's here. And I was just trying to figure out, okay, how should I do that next time to keep them from doing that? Is maybe say to them, when we get up there, we're going to only talk about first
I'm
century.
reading now on the
So
temple.
anything you want to say about today,
Yes.
say it on the bus. That way you can say all your thing about the Jordanians or whatever else you want to say. Because when we get up there, we're only going to talk about Jesus, except for what's written around the dome.
Yeah.
The first time I was up here, all I could see is what's here. This time, all I can see is
Yeah.
the visualization. I don't know what's so distinct about it this time. Maybe it's because the shock of...
Dico, help us. As they're going to be teaching up here, help us with this, because what Jeff was just saying is, so often if you come up with a guide,
Yeah.
he's going to want to do the modern history.
It's very, very difficult to. You can give the explanation orally without any diagrams or Bible reading. The Muslims get very angry. That's why I called
If they're following us,
to leave the Bibles, and they confiscate the Bibles. You leave it at the entrance. You have to come and pick it up afterwards.
So for us, I just talked about the royal portico and what was happening in
can
Jesus'
speak.
day.
You
Yeah.
can speak about it.
So-
we also, most of the guides do give the explanation from the Jewish side, Christian side, and the Islamic information. No question about it. They do not interfere when you're giving the explanation.
So how, like, the guides will, like, when we just did our exchange just a little bit, I was, said, hey, talk about the dome and the gold and stuff like that. And so you did that for a little bit.
But you only did it for a minute. You didn't go on for 10 minutes. That's the
Well,
difference.
usually we give the explanation on Al-Aqsa at Al-Aqsa, on the Dome of the Rock at the Dome of the Rock. The more explanation with different architectures and the dome, the small one, the Solomonic courthouse beside it was the prototype.
Yeah, the
where
chain, dome of the chain.
Yeah, that's where we usually give the explanation. When we don't do it outside or away from the dome.
So one way I think maybe see if this would work here is, like, I'll come here and then we'll do this, and then we can walk to a spot and say, I would say to the guy, say, Diko, tell us about, and then he would do that. But Diko is also very good at not going for 20 minutes on it.
Precise and to the point.
That's appreciated.
Tom, you have an appointment today with David Sarel. He just called.
I have been trying to reach him, and I've been sending him email after email saying,
He says he's sending you emails and trying to reach you.
I am certainly
Why don't you
not
speak
seeing
to
it.
him? And maybe you have the wrong number. What time do you want to meet him?
I got at 6:22 this morning now.
You have a message?
I finally. Oh, I've been sending
want to
messages
speak
by
to him?
WhatsApp, but it doesn't seem that you're receiving them.
Hi, just a moment.
Thank you. Hey, David. Yeah. So how about, I'm thinking about,
Afternoon.
yeah, how about if we meet, we've got a lot to do today. How about if we meet for somewhere in the Jewish Quarter for lunch at like 12:30?
That's perfect.
Okay. Where would you like to meet there?
Tell Nico to let me know where you're going to be.
Okay,
All right?
we'll do that.
All right, it's that simple. I'll park in the Mamilla and then I'll walk in and I'll be...
You get shade, this is a decent spot. And you want to get up here first thing in the morning because usually if you got tour groups, you're going to take a long time through security.
And what we emphasize is to try to stay together most of the time and not to wander around to taking pictures. If anything happens, we have to evacuate. And within seconds it can turn to a battlefield. You saw the police at the entrance. They're waiting for riots.
I've never had that happen.
I assume that most people are a little apprehensive as they get up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did not point it by the entrance when we came in. There was a sign saying no one is allowed to go on the Temple Mount, the chief rabbinate of Israel. But you saw religious Jews coming. They do come, they leave their shoes, leave their bags, and they walk barefoot around the courtyard of the Gentiles. They avoid the higher point.
And the reason for that is they don't want to accidentally walk where
They don't know where the Holy of Holies is.
yeah.
They are willing to come up. Some are willing to come up here and do that.
Yes. Now, gradually, the new minister is from a right-wing party. So he has changed the status quo. Prior to his appointment, no one was allowed to do any prayers. Nowadays, they're even praying, they're lying down on the ground and avoiding the status quo agreement between the State of Israel and the Al-Qaf.
Is that going to cause problems?
Oh, it does.
It's causing
Yes, it
problems.
does.
Huh?
Let's walk around front.
Difficult relationship.
Usually the problems are on Fridays. And the police is always on the alert.
Did you look in through the window back there?
This door's open though. That's not typical.
This one? Let's just look in.
It's okay. From the
We'll just say that. Kind of getting a tiny sense of how to go at the columns in a much understated way.
This is the third pillar or the fourth pillar where Abdullah was assassinated in the bullet. Abdullah, king of Jordan, the first king. King Hussein's grandfather. Yeah.
Bird.
That's a Muslim bird. He's trying.
What is?
She said it's the Holy Spirit. He's trying.
One of the meetings he had with Golda Meir was interesting. The people who were present interviewed those people. So they opened the bag and
משלם המיסים באנגליה? משלם המיסים באנגליה?
He invited them over for what is he? I don't know. He's inviting them to something.
Most probably he's trying to serve them. Come, I'll show you this.
Yeah.
I know him as a child.
Shukran.
Instead of going through the slope is very slippery with the limestone.
To Peter to pay him off.
Uh-huh.
Didn't offend him by not giving him anything.
Yeah,
I don't have money.
I don't
It's really okay.
That was a new experience.
That was interesting.
You lost Jeff?
And Drake.
Just shaking him down.
For talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for allowing us to do that real quick.
Sure.
I was,
I'm not upset him by saying no.
They're coming.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna. Somebody said come look, I usually go.
My friend.
It's not always the smartest thing.
Yeah, that could have been that.
Yeah, but up here.
You haven't been on this side?
Jeff's paying.
Oh, yeah.
Just wanted money.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
The pictures, he had to get $40.
Yeah. That's when you guys walked away.
I think it was more for the group. Okay.
When you guys walked away, I said, I don't know. He called him over there for something. Dico goes, he's trying to sell him something. This is first response.
I took out 4 coins and gave him 2. He's like, one more. I'm like, oh my pocket.
You should have taken your credit card. You take credit.
The credit card fell on the floor.
So just think about the size again. Now go back to Jesus' day. Think about the size of this royal portico where we were on that other side, all the way across, 175 feet, all the way across. Isn't this crazy? And you go like, yeah, this just rivals the building of the Colosseum. I mean, you know, in terms of majesty, it's really
It's like, where did all that stuff go?
in the
valley.
in the fall.
So all those columns are around somewhere underneath the stuff.
Yep.
Those huge columns.
Yep.
It just adds to that view of walking in and seeing it for the first time. Like,
This became
Although they
normal,
would see it
too.
3 times a year, right?
If they'd come 3 times, for sure they'd come at Pesach. You know,
Right. So that it wouldn't be like just once in their lifetime. They would come, like Jesus was here when he was 12, 13,
Yeah,
14, 15,
yeah.
16. Like, but still amazing every time you came.
every time. Yeah.
Would that, like, they had to rebuild this platform structure.
Parts of it. Yep.
So those giant columns could be underneath.
Could be.
I mean, if you're Rome, those are the things you're trying to knock down.
Right.
They
I
make
mean,
a big bang.
we're done. And hence, you know, when the conversation with Titus
Would
on
make a big bang.
on this, on Mount Scopus, going, man, it's beautiful. It's too bad we got to knock that thing down.
Yeah, that's something.
Modern day connection. Where do you have one of these next to your church? Like a pile, like
Out back
a
behind
scrap.
the shed.
We call it our pot pie house.
Your sheds.
Seriously. Yeah. We have a whole house for our annual pot pie thing.
You're just ladders, debris.
On this end,
That's where the new mosque is below.
yeah, in Jesus' day, go back there. On this end is where one of the 3 meeting places of the Sanhedrin. And so, if they were going to have a public gathering, you're going to hear us debate. You're going to hear how wise we are. It's going to be on this end of this royal portico. Yeah, and then this is where it was excavated underneath without IAA permission, and built a mosque underneath here, in the middle of those columns.
So yeah. So they probably destroyed a bunch of history.
They watched where they took the dirt out, and they took it to a place down below, and it's this just sifting project.
On the below the Mount of Olives, they have a section in, opposite Augusta Victoria. There is another new section.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's colonnades all the way around, but the only 2 that are named is this royal portico, royal porch, and then that one that faces east. That's Solomon's porch.
So there were porticos on the north and west side.
Correct. And you can see the structures where they were. Usually, like when you guys turned, I'll stop there because people do want to look at the Golden Dome.
Yeah. Is there a way to go back there at some point?
We can. No, we won't be. Let's see where we are. No, we're going to leave on another.
Open this side too.
Well, there's this great shot right from the center.
Let's go over there. We can do it.
It's like you can see it, but like the shot is there.
There, you'll see multiples of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think for our purposes as much, but
For yours.
telling the story. Yeah. Like you wouldn't shoot up here, right? Have you done anything?
Very discreetly.
Like that would be very difficult.
Very discreetly. Got an Osmo. You know what I mean? And over somewhere, and you wait till nobody's around, and then you do it.
Bet you could do it. Yeah. Like I could strip everything down and get like real discreet. But
if you want to line it up with what we saw on the eastern side, the bend is right in here on the wall. You know, the bend, okay. And so when the Acra was built, they built an entrance underneath it. So the original coming up from below was the Acra. Then when Herod built the rest of the royal portico, he just extended the gateway to come up underneath the royal portico.
So is this where they would have come up right here, or is this not the right spot?
No, this is it. There's two. There's one here, and then there's one over by that shed.
These are the same location as the original ones?
Yes, yes. In fact, if you go down there and all the way through, you will see some of the Herodian painted archways that are still there
And you
from Herod's.
eventually get to the other side where the arch is that's covered up, and then the steps that go out to.
Yeah, it's blocked off, but yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
Is this seam the bend?
Close. Yeah, it's like right here.
And so this was Solomon's on this side, and then the bend happens why? What again?
The bend happens with the Acra,
Which is
the Maccabean fort.
Maccabees to Solomon's
Yeah,
and Ezra Nehemiah's.
yeah. And then Herod does his thing at the straight seam.
Gotcha.
Okay?
It's added on.
Are you saying that you've been down there?
No. I wish. I was trying to bribe Deco to get us to go be able to get in there, but I didn't have enough money. He kept asking for more and more money. And
Going into the lower, you have to apply to the Awqaf, and the Awqaf has conditions. They asked me so many questions when I tried to arrange it. Are they Jewish? Are they missionaries? So I usually say students who want to visit and learn more about Islam.
yes, they didn't say yes.
I will get back to you, and they never do.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I understood from one of the travel agents who arranged it once to our group, they expect to receive a kind of.
Yes. Okay. Here is
It's a good shot of you.
It's a great shot. I'm Tom Selleck. Welcome. The Dome of the Rock.
Hey, Caleb.
Here is one of the tells, the kind of the hints at maybe where the original platform was. See, if you look at the angle of this, it does not match this wall. Right?
Right.
And so you go like, if you take that angle, and you track it out that way, if you were going to calculate this angle that direction, where does it end? And if you go from a point there, 500 yards, that way, and then that way, and then create a right angle, it lines up with where that other step is on the far side. So these two pieces are the ones you go like, maybe this is a hint of what the original Solomonic platform was. That make sense? We don't know, but you go like, well, it's kind of a strange outcropping of bedrock.
So you're saying because it's gradually coming further away from the wall.
Yeah, see how it's further? So the angle of it does not, it's like this.
Bedrock that hints as to where
The original Solomonic platform might have been. We are, it's speculation, but it's one of the two spots where you can kind of see maybe. Okay, we're moving on.
It's a really good book. That I've listened to a couple times and then bought a copy of. It's a bookmark book called Jerusalem. It's by Simon Sebag Montefiore. I know, it's a really memorable name. But it talks, it's just Jerusalem from zero to now. And the zero, like, from the earliest we know about it.
Called The Biography of Jerusalem.
It is very good. But the most I learned about it was the terrible things that happened here from 70 AD on. Very enlightening.
Get that especially.
Yeah,
It's long.
it's really
about that
it's
thick.
like 22 hours.
Fair 12 hours each way to St. Louis.
Family.
Usually I put in headphones.
Yeah.
So that I can stay awake while Simon Sebag doesn't matter.
Montefiore. It's the Montefiore is the easy pick to remember because it's the same as the windmill
Oh,
over
okay.
across the canyon.
So think of, again, the diagram that we kind of did last night. Court of the Women starts here and goes that way. And so Court of the Women, right? Okay, and then you got the steps, the Nicanor Gate. So imagine that. Yeah. So if you got the Nicanor Gate up here, and this is where Zechariah would come out to pronounce his blessing. This is where the priests would come to sing, the Levites would come and sing. And so even this is the one, Kara, I think I mentioned this, that some have said, well, these steps match the Psalms of Ascent.
Oh.
And this is the other alternative. If it's not on the Pilgrim Road, it would be like here, used as you do the ascent. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go to the house of the Lord. And so I would buy the Psalms of Ascent from the road from Jericho better. I think they're meant for pilgrim use. So here would be the Nicanor Gate and those beautiful steps, and the Court of the Women out here. So if Jesus is brought, 40 days after his birth, is come into the Court of the Women, and he's met by Zechariah and by Anna. Simeon. Yeah, I knew that wasn't right. I was like, that's not right. Simeon, and so the idea that my eyes have seen the salvation which you have prepared in the face of all people. Here he sings this song with holding this baby Jesus out here.
So if the Nicanor Gate is here, then these steps in front of the Nicanor Gate are all moved over this way.
Yeah. So, but it gives you the idea.
Right.
Yeah, good.
And then in front of the Dome of the Chain, like towards us a little bit, is where the altar.
Yeah. So if you've gone up the Nicanor, okay, now you got Court of the Israelite men, right? So the men can come in and watch. The altar's right here. The hooks where they look like bicycle racks, where you attach your sheep, are all out here. And then this is the court of the priests, with the temple a third higher than the Golden Dome. That's just like a crazy, magnificent. Like it can't even possibly be on Earth, kind of thing.
And you got one who's saying, I'm greater than this. And to think about Christ in this presence, in this place, saying, worship me, not that.
Yeah.
That was just pointing to me.
Yes.
That's just the appetizer.
I am the temple. Destroy this temple, and I'll build it back up in 3 days.
And when I send my helper, that spirit will dwell in you.
Right.
How magnificent that is how I look at you.
That proclamation of destruction is such gospel for those who are unworthy to come into this place. I keep coming back to the woman in John 4, but like access to the Father requires all of us to get torn down.
The temple came to her in Samaria.
Yeah.
That's great. Yes.
Be able to go after that, but he comes to us. Again, I go back to from the view the other day. Just a reminder that this was for a time. This is not for us to stay. This is not the destination. It's to go out.
Yeah. I mean, you can see, to be sympathetic to it, you can see where there's the longing for this glory.
Right.
But it's misaimed.
Exactly.
But even when they had it, they didn't honor it, you know?
Right.
We just saw that row of chairs, those thrones, you know? And they had a temple that whole time.
Yes.
It still wasn't enough.
I think to think of the abominations that happen up here by the Jews, by the Israelites.
Yes.
Like,
Solomon,
right.
The temple of the horses that were dedicated to the sun god up here also.
Right.
It was like, we put everything up there.
Well, and seeing how terrible it is to see the temple desecrated, when we think of ourselves as a temple, how important it is that we keep ourselves clean by coming back to Him.
He sends Rome to tear down our temples.
Tell me about the writing.
I will do that very thing. Here's the great.
Thank you.
I'll step into the
You
shade
led
a
us
little
right
bit.
into the
Yeah.
I'm good for segues.
So this is where the note cards are really handy because there's no way you're gonna have it memorized.
Everything you want to memorize.
There is, because you can't picture God. Can't draw a picture of God. So Islamic art is geometric design and calligraphy of the Quran.
Beautiful stuff.
It is. But even people who read Arabic have a hard time reading it because it's so calligraphically up there. So if you ask, they're like, I don't know.
Right.
But there's a book which I found at a used bookstore. Let's hear it for used bookstores. By a guy named Oleg Grabar, who taught at Harvard. He taught Islamic art. And he wrote a book just about this building. And I'm going to just read my notes from that, okay? It's conceived as a perfect geometric form between the angles and the way that it's centered and everything. It's conceived, but yet he said, it's not in the center of the platform. It's off to one side, which in his thought, there's a reason why when they're doing this, there's already a reason to put it where they needed to put it, even when they were trying to figure out the most perfect geometric design, because this is where the Dome of the Rock, where the Holy of Holies was. This was the high point of the rock, where the temple sat. In Islam, Mick teaching, right? Abraham takes not Isaac but Ishmael to Mecca for the sacrifice. And in Judeo-Christian, the Bible, right, he brings him up to Mount Moriah, which in 2 Chronicles 2 says that this Mount Moriah is the Temple Mount. The upper arcade is 240 meters long, and you see right. Here's the quote. In the name of God, the merciful, there is no God but God, one, without associate. Say he is God alone, not the eternal. He does not beget, nor is he begotten, and there is no one like him. Muhammad is the envoy of God. May God bless him. Praise be to the God who begets no son and who has no associate in power and who has no surrogate for humiliations and magnifies his own greatness.
When was that composed?
This is the Quran.
When was that composed?
Muhammad dies in 630, so it's during Muhammad's life.
Because Council of Nicaea was 330, so what we believe is completely established, and so
It's a direct.
it's a direct
Oh, yeah.
thrash
Mm-hmm.
of something that's been very established for 300 years or more.
On the inside, every single quote, by the way, over every doorway there's a quote from the Quran. On the inside, there's quotes. Every single quote in there is anti-Trinitarian and degrading Jesus as God. Doesn't say anything else. All the quotes on this site are all about Jesus not being God and there not being Trinity.
I'll protest a lot, dude.
Here's the upper inside of the dome. O people of the book, that's what they call us, do not go beyond the bounds of your religion and do not say God, accept the truth. Indeed, the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, was an envoy of God, and his word he bestowed on her as well as a spirit from him. So believe in God and his envoys, and do not say three. Desist. It is better for you. Indeed, God is one God. It is not for God to take a son.
It's pretty clear what they're doing.
Isn't it?
And then you take the size of the dome, and it's exactly the same as the Church of Sepulchre.
Yeah.
And it's pretty clear.
Yeah. It's hard for me, when Jesus is riding down Mount of Olives and he stops and he weeps over Jerusalem and he says, oh man, what you're going to see, both the wiped out and then the false prophets you're going to see. So when you see the Antichrist, and you're like, oh my gosh. Even the Second Thessalonians, and it's a little bit tricky passage, but the idea when it says that he will appear in the temple.
Right.
And so often,
Same place.
yeah, so often we go like, oh, it means he's going to arise from within the church. But I'm like, well, or maybe where the temple was, he's going to rise in the temple. Here's the John stories that happen up here. In John 2, he makes the whip. In John 5, he heals at Bethesda, right over there. And then he finds the guy in here. In John 7, it is Sukkot, the Feast of the Tabernacles, right? And so halfway through, Jesus comes up. He comes up late to that one. Remember, his brothers say, you should go up to Jerusalem, and he doesn't go, and then he comes up halfway through. And on the last day, every other day, there's a water procession from the Pool of Siloam up here where they come up with water, and they pour water out on the base of the altar. On the last day, there's no water procession, and that's when Jesus stands up and shouts, if anyone is thirsty, come to me, and I will give him living water. And then there's that comment by John. He said this about the Spirit, which would be poured out after he's glorified. In John 8, he was sitting and teaching in the porch of Solomon. And they brought to him the woman who was caught in adultery. And then Later in that same conversation, you say you're sons of Abraham. Yeah, before Abraham was, I am. And they want to arrest him, but he slips away. In John 10, it's the Feast of Hanukkah, so it's December, like 2 months later. Again, he's sitting in Solomon's porch, and they come and surround him. It's like they're bullying him. And they say to Jesus, tell us plainly, are you the Messiah? And then at the end of that conversation, they try to seize him again, and he slips away again. And then in the end of John 10, it says, so Jesus could not go back into Jerusalem. And that's when he goes to the far side of the Jordan River and stays over there. The only thing that brings him back, I shouldn't say the only thing, the thing that brings him back first is Lazarus. And on the way up the hills from Jericho, Thomas says, let us go to die with him. So they're well aware of the threat. Being named Thomas, I wish that's what we would quote. Oh well, instead of doubting Thomas. Anyway, so then the question comes, is he going to show up at the Passover? Is he even going to be up there? And so he comes, and this to me is what makes the Palm Sunday procession so huge. Is he even going to show up? You know, they want to arrest him. They've tried to arrest him twice. Are they going to do it? And Jesus says, get a donkey. You know, it's kind of game on. I mean, it really is. He's like, here we go. You know, and he rides in, comes in, looks at the temple and says, well, I know what I got to do tomorrow. So, that's the life of Jesus, and there's a lot that happens up here, this confrontation. In the book of Acts, in Acts 3, the cripple is healed. Beautiful gate. In Acts, in Acts 4, it says that they are gathering for prayers every day. It doesn't say they're in the temple. One of the variants does say they gather in the temple. So the Christians are gathering in like Solomon's porch. They're still coming up here for prayer. In Acts 21, Paul brings somebody up here and comes into past the barricade, and they say, oh, well, Paul is bringing Gentiles into this. And they arrest him, and from Fortress Antonio, see the tower over there? That's where Fortress Antonio would have been. There's a bit of a riot that begins to happen. And minaret? Yeah. And they rush in and they rescue Paul. We'll be over on that side. But those are the kind of the events of the book of Acts that happen up here. Healing, they're praying, and then Paul's arrested up here.
Why do you think the Christians gathered up here for prayer?
I think they're trying to figure out, how does our old system work with our new system?
It didn't have divine service anymore yet.
It's also a place where you could fit 3,000 people.
That's true.
That LSP, bro.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, did you hear Jeff?
No, I said a snide comment. Go ahead.
It's a place where you could fit 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Because there's space.
You know, so potentially the Pentecost thing maybe started in the upper room over there. But then if you got 3,000 people you're trying to baptize, maybe there's a lot of mikvahs, it seems, maybe there's a lot of mikvahs, but maybe if some of it happens, you might say, well, we got too many people to baptize, we gotta find some water.
That's very insightful.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. You go like, yeah, within 6 months, a year, there's a congregation of 3,000.
And then 5,000, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how long that is, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 and 6. One, we often talk about Jews in the mikveh, that they're cleansing themselves in that way. You still see the sites up here, and there's all the hand washing stations.
Yeah.
And Jesus says, I'm the one that cleanses you. I'm living water. The other piece, the altar was right about here. Right?
Yeah.
Where all the sacrifice happened. And I was thinking, well, it's so weird that the crucifixion didn't happen here to fulfill all sacrifices no more.
Uh-huh.
But then I was thinking, well, if the sepulchre's over here, right?
Yeah.
Past the dome.
Yeah.
First, but
Yeah.
and I was thinking, well, why wouldn't it happen here, for the holy? Like, but then I was thinking, well, if the system's changing, this is no longer the temple. Maybe the focus is taken away from the temple and somewhere else.
The atonement sacrifice has 2 sacrifices that happen. There's one that is made at the tabernacle, and then there's one that's sent out into the wilderness that's outside.
Azazel,
Jesus,
yeah.
yes, and Jesus is both. He's both sacrifices. He's the scapegoat, and he's the one that's here, sacrificed here. He's outside the city gate.
which is the Hebrews thing. So come join Jesus outside the city gate, just as he sacrificed. leave the gates. That's
Leave
good.
the security.
And it's
Both.
He's both. That's really
And I
good.
love that this is a threshing. It's a threshing floor, right? It's where you separate and break down, and then you get into like the heart of the matter, right? The bread of life, right? That's maybe a little too spiritualizing what happens with wheat germ, but that's how this place started. David buys it.
Mm-hmm.
and they had the 12 loaves in the temple. The bread.
The bread.
So great. Yeah, this was the threshing floor of Arowana. It's who David buys it from.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it right there. That's where it started.
This has nothing to do with temple area necessarily. It has to do with Jesus' teaching. I don't know if you've seen the birds, Richard, you were teaching, but other people, the birds just flying around, these flocks of birds, and without a care in the world. And I'm thinking, as they're flying like Jesus said about the birds of the air, they don't have a care in the world. And I'm thinking, where are they getting their food? And then they all land over here, and this guy comes out with a bag of food and starts feeding them. And it's like our Heavenly Father. They're just flying around without a care in the world, and then they settle down, and God, our Heavenly Father, just comes. And it's just like, it's just so cool to see this guy feeding them. Now they're all settled because they've been fed.
Well, they're not flying alone.
Yeah, they're all together, just having fun.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good point, actually. What he's doing is, if people don't have chairs, there's always chairs sitting around for like elderly. Like
This
people
is
who really
provided by the.
so you could just they can
Okay.
pick one up while we're teaching.
Yeah.
Do you notice the color of the dome and the top part section, two different colors? The top part section is the solid gold, while the others are gold plated or gold leaf. Different colors.
Where are the two sections?
The dome and the
Oh, the
minaret.
spire on
I
top.
see. Is that solid
So
gold?
that's
It's not
solid
hollow
gold.
inside?
Solid gold.
Isn't it significant? It seems significant that the Islam has
Heavy,
chosen
huh?
the moon as their thing.
That's
The
funny.
moon god required child sacrifice.
Yes.
It's like it was detestable,
Yes.
and that's what they chose.
Yes.
That'd be a great thing. Just take that.
Isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
Use it for your next
it's like all there.
Right.
You're like,
total anti-
whoa, you're
Next
total
conquest,
antichrist.
bro.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm getting
It's
armies.
the Jericho, Yerach. Okay, you ready? Let's walk around the north side.
Now that Dico has his chair.
I know.
I'm adopting it.
Little Rascals, where they have that fort and there's no girls allowed,
Yeah.
and they make all those rules. And so you can't come in and blah 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 and it's such a big deal. And then the whole time they're in there, they talk about how much they love girls.
And what brought that to
Yeah, I was
mind?
gonna say, what's your point?
Don't believe in Jesus, not the Son of God. They make such a big deal about it.
They think that does protest too much.
Yeah. It's like you're making such a big deal out of it that it's very obviously the truth. The He-Man Woman Haters Club, isn't that what it's called?
It's been a long time since I saw that movie. Being out on the east side of the wall, you get such a better view than you do from up here.
Yeah, in that, we're going.
The weather is trip too.
Yeah, I know. Really.
Pleasant.
Look at that shade.
Really?
Adopt a chair.
No, it's over 1
He
year.
said he did adopt the chair.
That's interesting how that
But I
changed.
cannot play this
Uh-oh.
Yes, please. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you.
because of my back
Yeah,
problems.
no, of course. Yes.
Look at you. You found one.
He adopted a chair too.
There's some chairs to adopt.
Hank. So you know, this is the Golden Gate from the inside, the one that we saw on the other side. I told you about Fleming and you saw where the cement was on the outside, and so the date of this, so there's probably a gate underneath this, but Golden Gate gets its name from the Orion, you know, that the Greek word versus the Orion Latin, Golden Gate. So that's why they called it this. Kara, where was Jesus crucified?
Not on the Mount of Olives.
The story?
I told him at
Did you?
dinner, but there was a friend who was asking about going to the Holy Land. He said, "Oh yeah, I've been twice, and I have this really good guide. He knows a lot of really important stuff. Like he figured out that Jesus was actually crucified on the Mount of Olives." And at which point I just kind of like stopped listening to him. I can't take you seriously. Yeah. So.
And so, you know, you read those things and you go like, okay, well, and here's their argument. They'll say, well, that really wasn't where the temple was. The temple was over here because there's in the dome of the spirits, the souls. They say, oh, bedrock. It's not bedrock, but they say, well, it is. And you go like, okay, that's where the Holy of Holies was. And so when Jesus was crucified on the Mount of Olives, they could see that the curtain was torn in two by looking through the Golden Gate. Now think about this. Look where it is. There's just no way. I mean, if you're on the Mount of Olives, you'd be looking over.
Yeah.
There's just
The other direction.
yeah, it's just like ridiculous. But those are kind of things you go like, where does that come from? So
If you make everything up, you can say whatever you want.
yeah.
This man might come speak for us.
Okay, so the one thing that's I think kind of interesting is down below here. There's some cedar wood, and I think I've talked about it before. That it's wrapped up in tarps, and the cedar wood is you can look at it and go, it comes from that first. And actually some of them go all the way back to 1000 BC, which is Jesus, Solomon's original. Okay, let's go look at it real quick. A long time.
So this is the other side of where we were when we were looking at the Golden Gate.
Yep.
Wow. Look how big those columns are.
Yeah.
It's Corinth style too.
Yeah. And it's probably well, the top part is Ottoman.
Okay.
That there
sense for
are
walls.
some indicators on the outside of earlier ones, and there's even indicators that may give an idea of where the wall was in Solomon's time. If you look at it, and here Landrat Meyer details it all. Now I will make sure that I send a annotated bibliography, so you go like, if I want to read that, where would I look at that? Okay, ready to go on?
I was amazed at how the mess that all is.
Yeah.
Like all the trash just laying there. It's just
Yeah.
they're not gonna reuse that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like
I've been to miniature charts that have that too.
I know.
Yeah.
Could I just have a small piece of it? I'll take it home, make something.
it's probably very moldy.
Yeah, probably.
What's in behind the doors?
Like, did they
A
carve
prayer. There's a prayer place in there, and then there's a prayer niche that they put in there.
Okay.
Okay.
To mitrab for Islam, to know which direction to pray towards Mecca. Hey, a note about this: during the Umayyad period, they prayed toward Jerusalem. They didn't pray toward Mecca because they were forbidden. They didn't like them in Mecca, and so they were forbidden to go to Mecca. And so they made Jerusalem the place where they. And in fact, they would gather here, and you know how they in the Hajj, the pilgrimage, they walk around the Kaaba. They would do that here. They would walk around the temple. And so when the Umayyads were not allowed to go there, this was the place that was the center. There's a boys' school over here, and this is their playground. Weird, huh?
Yeah.
We're gonna turn left.
Huh. We have a school at our church.
Yeah. I guess not that weird.
Same thing.
Only turn right.
So if you go out that gate right there, that door right there, you are right by Bethesda. So when you think of sequencing in tours, I mean, you come up here, it's just really kind of nice to be able to go do that and then go right out to Bethesda because you're right there. And then you can do the fake Via Dolorosa, which we're gonna do.
Did you go to the Mount Beatitudes Church?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you go to the Rose Garden.
Yeah, unless I can find a better view place. I go for the view.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But it's just kind of a cool.
Right. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's a good chance to teach on some. It is good to walk this one because you get a better sense than looking at it of how big it is.
Mm-hmm. Do you come all the way around?
It depends on time.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you got going, that's on the list. If you've already gone to Bethesda and St. Anne, don't have a need to go out that gate.
Yeah.
Can you get out on this side somewhere?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And we might, but it's what's the name of it? It's a merchandise gate. You go out, and there's all sorts of shops on either side. It's the next one right next to the Mihrab gate.
So let's say you wanted to do the
Rabbinic tunnels of the
tunnels
western wall.
next.
Yeah, yeah. Go back out over there.
or the western wall
Yeah.
next. If you didn't
It
get
comes
a
out
chance.
right next to the western wall. We're gonna turn right here.
Do they pick all these olives and use them?
I don't know.
A lot of olive trees.
There are.
That'd be a mess.
And a money maker. You can pick all these.
And knowing where they're from, probably even worth more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Olives from the Temple Mount.
Go left. Wonder if that's a wonder if that's a selling point for this school. But it's right next to the Harama Street. It's kind of like Mission San Jose, the school at St. Joseph's down there. I love their little motto.
It's funny.
We're a school with a mission.
Yeah, kids are kids.
Yeah.
Teacher's trying to get them to focus in class. Here. Look at that bedrock.
Thank you.
Yes, tribal translated.
So if you remember on the outside of the wall where the bedrock comes up, you can see where it's shaved here in order to create the platform. So here the bedrock comes up again, and there's a little valley between here, and then it rises again from where Mount Moriah would have been, right there. So it just goes down and then comes back up. If you look in, you can see square spots in the stone, like right there. See that spot where it's carved? That would hold a beam that comes out like this and is supported, and there would have been a porch on this side. So this one's not named, but Solomon's over there was, the royal portico over there, and so this was also a porch. When in Acts 21, where Paul's arrested over on this side, this is also where Fortress Antonio was, and from the roof of Fortress Antonio, Paul speaks to the people, and he says, I want to talk to them. So he speaks to them in Hebrew, and so he does that. He kind of defends himself from the roof of, or the porch, so to speak, of a higher elevated porch of Fortress Antonio, and he talks to the people that were down here, and a riot begins to do it, and they whisk Paul back inside. And so then this is when they hear his nephew hears that there is going to be, there's guys that have taken a vow, and they're not going to eat until they get Paul killed. And that nephew comes, talks to Paul. Paul says, please tell the commander. They tell the commander, and the commander says, we should leave. So there's this huge procession that leaves here and goes down then to Caesarea Maritima, where Paul's for 2 years. But that arrest here, and then his journey that ends up taking him to Rome starts like here.
And that's when he goes to Rome.
Because that's correct. That's correct.
Jesus is not brought to Pilate here.
No. Josephus lets us know, and it's in the Gospels too, that Josephus lets us know that when Pilate comes up, he stayed in the palace of Herod. And that would have been over by the Jaffa Gate.
Aphek is where Ark of the Covenant once went through, and there's 2 evangelism journeys from LA. And they had a bunch of horsemen, bunch of soldiers, which why would they do that? To arrest Paul, just one guy.
Yeah. And they go over in a covered, they leave in the cover of darkness. So they leave at night.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of what? Wow, they really want to. And it could be because it was just hot, but they're going to move in. And they could have disguised Paul's leaving in the middle of a troop movement. You know, we're just taking troops back to Caesarea. Yeah, so that's just north side. So Fortress Antonio's right here. They kept an eye on what was going on from their porch from up there.
That fortress was destroyed in 70 AD, or maybe after that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was in 70.
Okay.
We're going to go out there. How do you feel about knowing what's going around up here? You good? Mm-hmm. You could go like, okay, I can see 2 or 3 things that I'm going to emphasize when I'm teaching up here.
Are we headed over that way by the cornerstone?
Yeah, let's go do that.
That's the one thing
Okay.
I'm not sure I know where.
Or you mean that stone that's
Yeah.
not aligned?
Right. The one that you said
Yeah,
probably is the corner.
of the original platform.
Right. Of the original.
Yeah.
There's something I've been wondering about all morning. Obviously, the veil is torn at the time of the crucifixion. But when Jesus says, destroy this temple, I am the temple. Why was the whole temple not destroyed until 70?
At that. I do not know. So you think when Jesus died, the temple should have just got...
In my mind, that would make sense, but I'm just wondering what other teaching lesson would be here since it was till 70.
I want to provide a fight.
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it? See the angle that it's off?
Yeah.
And so if you go from right here, if you go 500 yards that way and 500 yards from that other piece that I showed you, it's a right angle.
500 cubits or yards?
It's probably cubits. No, it's yards. It's yards. Length in yards. So 500 yards, 500 yards. And then you go that way. It ends up, and he's very speculative about that. He says, I don't know, but there's right next to the Golden Gate on the north side, there's some stones you go like, that could be the corner of the original temple as well. Looks like it predates Herod. So the original Solomonic would be like this big, 500 yards that way, like we described. And you can see it's different. This is the only staircase that's not perpendicular to the platform.
They did make the staircase parallel to these stones.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
There's a little child moving around it.
Hey, what's me? I can't adjourn.
It's 10:30. Yeah.
Could we go up to the Ascension, this other spot of the Ascension to teach on that?
Sure.
Or maybe under the dome of the chain?
Sure.
Just clarify. So we're saying this is part of the original
Just
thing.
these stones.
So the idea of where was Solomon's, and like we don't really know, but there's two places where you go like, okay, there's for some reason you can see this stone is different and it's older. For some reason, this staircase is not perpendicular to the platform where every other staircase is. And if you go 500 yards that way, that other place where I showed you, it comes at a perfect right angle. And you go like, okay. Yep, so if you do that straight and then that straight.
Interesting.
It's like, maybe these are hints.
Not a 10 out of 10.
Not a 10 out of 10. Okay.
Dome of the Ascension, Dome of the Chain. I'm not sure what this is.
Yeah. Okay, so come this way. See the little higher one right there with the door on it? That is the Chapel of the Ascension, or the Church of the Chapel of the Ascension. And so that's Muslim. And they thought that then the ascent of Muhammad on his winged steed into heaven was connected to that site. And that site was built after, that little chapel thing was built after the Dome of the Rock. So if you go like, well, if the Dome of the Rock was built to say this is his launching spot in his ascension for his night travels, why did they create another spot? And so even in the history of Islam itself, you go like, when they built this, the reason they built it is not certain. Probably just to be the Antichrist. Haram al-Sharif is the noble sanctuary. Al-Aqsa, the name of the mosque, Al-Aqsa, the farthest. So when he goes, it's the furthest sanctuary is what it says in the Quran, and so that's why they named that Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is the chapel or the Dome of the Souls, and the idea that this spot right here is bedrock, and the idea that this lines up with where the Golden Gate is, and you could see, you'd look through it from the Mount of Olives. Yeah, that didn't work. This is not bedrock.
Okay.
And I thought, I read that it was, and then you do a great deal of work on it and you go like, actually, it's not. The terrain is just beginning to come back up to hit its peak at the Mount Moriah. That help, Drake?
That helps.
Okay.
And then what's the other little blue dome right?
I don't know. But there's a bunch of little things around that are all Islamic. All of these things, for example, this is pretty easy to see because the Mamluks love this black and white and red stuff, and every now and then they'll have accents green. You see the collars on the columns, and so it's Mamluk. And every one of these places has these at the top of the stairs. They add these things, and these are the scales of final judgment. They all have a name, but they related to that, the scales of final judgment. That's what they call this entranceways.
I want to say I was watching a video somewhere, and one of these fonts has a cross in it.
The Church of the little chapel there of the Ascension was changed by the Crusaders into a baptismal site. So that little thing there was for a church for a while, baptistry.
Is it like the shape of a Jerusalem cross?
I don't really know, but
anyway,
yeah, so that
can
was.
you get in there, or also
Nope.
what's the other building up here with the dome? And
I don't know what this is. Dico, do you know what this building, the square block building?
They have different administrative buildings, the security sections that they have, or the cleaners. Here, for example, they've established a police station.
And that's a cistern? You showed us all the cisterns under here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, and some of them you can get down to, some of them
You can get down.
no, I mean, you can drop a thing down to it.
Figure water. Yeah.
No, Drake.
But they are in a very
Anywhere I
bad
can go. You can get down? Yeah, where's the ladder?
Over here, there are latrines. And the claim here, I don't know if this is true, but they're the oldest continuously operating latrines in the world.
Okay.
Dragon race.
Wait, like right here?
Yeah, like right over here.
Are we gonna go buy them?
No, but if it would help, we can.
Oh well, it would help, but also like to say that
I don't even want to hear about this.
Come on.
Nothing.
I do. So.
I was praying. I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that what's written in the calligraphy?
Yeah.
I'm glad that's on.
Is it?
Oh, you weren't recording. I'm very glad that that's not recording. Okay, you ready?
It was recorded in my head. Let's go.
We want to go out. We head over to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So if we go this way, we got a good spot. Stop on the
We
way.
need a mikveh on the way.
Is it clean
Okay, can I go?
smileys?
Yeah.
The best will be the Western Wall. You have to go.
On the way out.
Yeah, but I want to go out this way because I want to go to Via Dolorosa. There's
There is a public. There is a public.
right over here.
Yeah,
When you
there
make
is.
the turn, right?
Yeah, by the.
Oh, you know what? We're going to stop at the Austrian Hospice. So let's go out this way. Hello. Ma?
From what?
United States.
United States?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
What did you?
It's a secret though.
What did? Oh, you don't know.
Oh.
What did she say?
I thought she said I'm from
What
Palestine.
did you say?
I'm from Palestine. You know what?
I think he's right.
Come with me.
Oh, well, I just thought it would be interesting.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine if
There's a
if it
restaurant
doesn't
on the
make it.
way.
It's not about that. It's about it being an interesting thing. But obviously,
If you can, I mean, there. Would there be? I don't know if there's a sign. There's probably a WC sign.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I'll make it.
Let's just keep him happy.
In a group of 30, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
That would be interesting.
You know, Buzzcut would solve it.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
All right.